What is going on, everyone? Welcome back to another video where we're going to be getting in depth on the technical analysis with the 30-minute time frame, otherwise market profile, volume profile, however you want to look at it. We're going to be looking at the 30-minute time frame today. Then we're going to look at our daily time frame and our weekly time frame, as the weekly is starting to change course from what we thought was going to happen yesterday. That's what you gotta love about a market, right? Uh, Today we finally put the daily back into some sort of balance, even though I just came out of balance to the downside. And some people may have been saying we've been trending down for the last several days, and there's nothing wrong with saying that. It's an art, not a science, and we can do what we want, right? My balance was down here, and I had just taken it out yesterday. Some people's balance was here, and we've been one time framing down 4 days in a row to them. However, sellers on in either time frame, the larger or the smaller time frames, have been relatively weak, as either days that we've taken out previous days lows over the last week and trended lower. From a daily standpoint, we have not gotten much extension, range, or volume to the downside on any of the days that we've taken out a previous day low. There has not been a whole lot of extension or acceptance of lower price over the last several days. And you can see that here on our 30-minute chart, as we've lowered value each and every single day, right? We've lowered value and we've taken out the previous day's low, but not before doing, it was like a blueprint every single day. We take out the low, rally up towards the evening, take out the low the next day, rally up towards the afternoon, take out the low, rally up towards the afternoon, take out Monday was the only day we took out the low and stayed below the previous day's low. And even then, we did not get much extension or acceptance below the previous day's low or Friday's low. Right here, right? We created a wide point of control. And then today we opened up inside of yesterday's range, chopped around for a little while, attempted to get the low, attempted to get the daily low, couldn't get it. And therefore we rotated up and began to test the previous day's high. We go out today with six sets of single prints and a double distribution day. This portion down here that I'm circling right now with the mouse, if you can see it, where all this volume was done, is the lower portion of the distribution, the lower distribution. Everything in between acts as a gap, as there is 6 sets of single prints to the upside. And then finally, we got 5 wide up here towards the top end and had the second distribution. So a double distribution, 6 sets of single prints. Very rare that you see these types of days. And I was happy to catch some of the move to the upside as we ran into some of my targets and destinations on the long side. I was looking for a much bigger play and a much bigger pullback where I would have gotten a larger size, a larger piece, but it never happened. So I took what the market gave me, with much smaller size, because I wasn't completely comfortable with where I was buying. I did have bids below, and I'll review that trade as we go into the trades. So let's go ahead and get into it. Let's look at all my destinations I have pulled up for you guys right here, and let's get into what happened. So in A period, we opened up below the 10 wide point of control. In yesterday's video, I discussed how if we opened up below this point of control and couldn't take out the day's low, you would see us rotate through this price point of 83.50 and then test our afternoon rally high. Or we had sellers yesterday. We wanted to see if there were sellers still there today. And initially we kind of seen that. But once we got above it, we started to find some type of acceptance and then extension in D period, as we had a reversal bar, right? D opened up near C's high, pulled back, took out C's low, and then boom, reversed on us real good. Couldn't even get back to the open, and then reversed to the upside. Now on our checklist at the time, buyers had defended the low, right? And then they eventually got the overnight high, right? We couldn't get the overnight low, but we did eventually get the overnight high, which was right here around the 87.75 level. So we got that overnight high in A period early on in the morning, which resulted in buyers taking some type of control. Now, however, we did one time frame down in B period, saw a little bit of a choppy session and mixed market generated information. And in this point, you got to be willing to accept that, all right, the market's choppy. No trade is a trade. We moved back and forth through the opening. Nobody has won that. Now in C period, once we pulled back, couldn't get back to the open, and began to rotate higher, and we took out A's high, well, buyers now have another thing in their checkbook, right? We stopped the one time framing down, and now we have taken out the initial balance high. And remember, the initial balance high and low is the first two time frames, or the first 30-minute time frames, two 30-minute time frames of the day or hour of the day, high and low. So we took that out in C period towards the upside, got above that afternoon rally high, and then buyers, began to feel some type of comfortability. But sellers were not done yet, as we did take that push back down in D period, which presented a great opportunity to buy against the opening. And then we rotated up higher, creating a set of single prints. And then shorts began to panic and cover. And then longs, the buyers started to step into this market and really push us higher and higher and higher, getting all of our destinations. We got the high of day at 44.03. Then we got that other high of day from Friday right here at 44.08. And then we continue to grind up towards this 9 wide point of control right around 44.15.23. And then finally getting our last destination up here at 44.24.50 later in the evening. Now, where did I get involved? It was after all of this move to the upside. I was looking maybe for a bigger play in F period to pull back and potentially take back some of this single print here, and then I would buy against E's low, and then even add up to B's high, and then my stop out would have been right around D's low. Anywhere below that, I would not want to have been playing on the long side. But we never got that pullback, so I had to wait and see what this market wanted to give us. We finally got above that high day, and I was like, all right, market's pretty strong. And then we continued to set new sets of single prints. In G period, we continued to grind up towards the high at 44.08. I was like, okay, market's still pretty strong. And then finally in H period, we got a bit of a pullback, and seeing that we could not fill this set of single prints in G period, we held them by just a fraction, right? F's high was at 44.0350. H's low was right here at 44.04. So on this pullback, I began to get long 06, 05, and then added again at 05, an average of a 10 lot around the 05 level. I think my average was like 05.75. I can't remember exactly. But my target was, I seen that we gotten all these higher days here, these daily highs. I knew that our next upside destination wasn't until 44.15.25. And so I felt like, okay, if we push up near that, I'll take some off. And then if we start to stall a little bit, because, maybe this market, I've seen this market extend pretty good so far. Maybe we start to run out of buyers and we get a little bit more of a pullback, and I would get long a larger size against the 4,400 level and half back. However, we continue to push up in H. I exited some of my position at 12. We continued to push up around 13. And then we pulled back and just kind of stalled around this 12.50 to 13 level. And I was like, okay, are we going to push up and get this 15.25 level? As that was my ultimate target. And I had my stop. I had moved it up to 44.10, just above G's high. So I was like, if we pull back, I don't want to get inside of G's range. So I would have my stop there and secure some points. So I'd taken a 5 lot off right here around 12. And then seeing that we were stalling, and I was like, you know what? I made a good trade. I'm happy with it. If it pulls back, I'll take the long. If not, I placed a good trade, and I am comfortable with taking profits here, as it is only 3 points from my other profit point, right? And then eventually, I took my profit at 12.50, and took it all off at 12.50. One and done trade, 52 points on the trade that I was up, and then I was happy to see that eventually we did get an I period at 44.15.25, and then continue to grind up higher. Now, had I had a larger piece on, I may have held out for that 15.25 area and then moved up towards the 24.50 area. But this market was very strong. Very happy with how I took that trade in H period against that set of single prints and let this thing grind up for me. So let's go ahead and mark all these destinations, as there is a lot that we wiped out to the upside here. And once again, knowing where these points of controls are, right? Knowing where wide points in the profile are located can help you identify another target, especially once you get above these highs here. You're like, okay, I know I have a magnet of where buyers were happy and buyers and sellers were happy at one point in time around this 1525 level. So we grinded up right to it. And guess what? Buyers and sellers were happy once more in that same price range. Now on the upside, we do have 4434, another 9 wide point of control to the upside for us, so that will act as a magnet. But right now, after taking out all these daily highs, we have put ourselves into what I'm going to be calling a 1, 2, 3, 4, a 5-day balance, and I'll show you that here on the daily. But let's go ahead and mark these destinations. So we only go out with today's low, today's high, and 6 sets of single prints. No afternoon pullback low, which is what I was originally looking for. But we had no afternoon pullback low, and I was kind of disappointed that we didn't have an afternoon pullback low. But that just goes to show you how strong these short-term players are in this market, especially those that were caught on the short side. Because they had to provide the bid, right? They wanted to get all their shorts. That means they had to buy and move price up higher. And then obviously you had momentum buyers stepping in the market, chasing shorts out of their positions. And that's why it helps to know these types of things, right? And if you're just now coming across my channel, I hope this is very informational to you. I hope you take it, take it and run with it. Learn this stuff. Learn the profile. It's very beneficial to learn the 30-minute time frame and how to read it. So we have a set of single prints that they fill right here at C's high at 90.25. We got a lot of these to label, so we're going to try to run through them as quick as possible. They fill here. Single prints fill. What's today's date? The 27th. Then they start right here at E's low at 93.75. 93.75 is where they start. Single print start. Hope you're labeling these along with me. I'm actually going to start from the upper end of the upper portion here at 1750, so it makes more sense on the way down. So this set start at 1750. 1750 single print start. 627.23. They start here, and then they fill at H's high. So hopefully this makes more sense, working down versus up. 1350 is where they fill, because each one of these single prints act as a gap, right? So today there was something to lean on. On the downside, there'll be something to fill, kind of like we did on to that trend day on the 12th, right? If I can show you real quick, that trend day back on the 12th, we had these sets of single prints, and then we eventually pulled back and filled in that area. So hopefully that makes sense. They act as intraday gaps, and that's something we'll be looking to fill on the downside. Okay, and then we have another set that start at I's low, which is 1175. 1175. Single prints start here. Where buyers were. They fill at G's high at 0975. $09.75 is where they fill. Next set start at H's low at 44 or 44.04 even. 44.04 is where the next sets start. Very small this one is, but they are here nonetheless. So hopefully you're filling in all these destinations. That way you have them on your chart. And then we'll go in and look at our larger time frame, the daily and the weekly time frames. 0350, because I think it's important that we look at these every day. That way you have a reference of what's occurring, right? You want to have these destinations in mind, and then you obviously want to know what's going on in the larger picture, right? You can't complete a puzzle if you don't have all the pieces, and having the larger picture in mind is definitely part of the puzzle, right? This market's a jigsaw puzzle, and we're just trying to constantly figure it out every day. The next set start here at G's low at 0125. 0125. Single start. Gosh, there's a lot of single prints. And then they fill right here at E's high of 99.50. 99.50 is where they fill. Single prints fill. 627. 23. Take a shot for each time I've said single prints, and you'll be figgity drunk. That's what you'll be. 97.01 is where the next sets start. Gotta do your homework, kids. Gotta do your homework if you want to succeed at this game. And then lastly, they fill at D's high of 95.50. Single prints fill at D's high, 99.50. And then you have the next set that start at 93.75 and fill at 90.25. And then we have our high of day up here at M's high of 24.75. High of day. Boom. So there's our upper distribution. There's our lower distribution. Upper distribution is 24.75 to 17.50. This range right here is the upper distribution. The lower distribution is 43.90.25 to 43.70. 450 is the lower distribution. Everything in between acts as a gap, and you'll look to fill in these sets of single prints that I have marked on here. If we open up in the upper distribution, cannot take out the high of day, and we fail to take it out, you'll look to rotate, take out 1750, and then start eating away at these sets of single prints. And your downside destinations would be 1350, then 1175, then 0975, then down to 04, 0350, 0125, 9950, 97, 9550, 9375, 9025, and then tip your toe into the lower distribution. Don't think we're going to take this back all in one day, but with the way this market moved today, you can never be too sure. Now let's go ahead and look at our larger time frame, such as the daily time frame, so we have an idea of what just occurred. So the market has been one time framing down. You can say now 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 days in a row, and then today we took out yesterday's high, putting us into a daily balance. Now I'm going to call this a 5-day balance. I'm going to be including the 21st. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 days of balance is what we're going to call it. So let's go ahead and mark our balance high. Now you may be asking, why am I including this day and not saying the balance high is this day? Because I think we ate away enough into the 22nd to include the 21st range. It's not that much of a difference. And I think if we got above that daily high there, then obviously you have a pretty large gap up to the next daily high at 49, whereas this daily high is 30.50. So keep that in mind. 30.50 is the high. So that is going to be our balance high now. So buyers want to break above 30.50. Sellers want to defend that. Now our balanced low will take the recent swing low on our daily time frame. Zoom this in just a little bit so you guys can see a little bit more clearly. So daily, right? You want to take the recent swing low and mark that as our balanced low right here. I just marked it. And that balanced low would be 68.50. 68.50 is the balanced low. So buyers want to defend it, sellers want to take it out. And then vice versa on the upside. Buyers want to take out 30.50, sellers want to defend that. So if we get no type of action, you can expect some major chop in between the 30.50 and the 44.30.50 level and the 43.68.50 level. A lot of chop in this range. Okay, you can expect that to happen. Now let's go ahead and look at our weekly time frame. As our weekly is firmly in a balance, but we have failed at an inside week down. Need a new mouse. So we took out last week's low as we opened up inside of last week's range, took out last week's low, potentially have an inside week to the downside. We failed miserably, got near that balance low of 51.25, got near it, and now we're starting to rotate back towards the other side of the spectrum, and we'll look to have an outside week up potentially to the upside, and then eventually want to take out that balance high of 93.50 on the weekly, and then get into that 4,500 level that we've been talking about. So weekly starting to shape up here. If we get nothing for the remainder of this week, you can expect, just like on the daily time frame, a whole whopping load of chop inside of this range from 44.93.50 to 43.51.25 until some type of resolution has been found and buyers have found acceptance up here and we begin to rotate up higher. With that being said, ladies and gentlemen, if you made it to the end of this video, you are an absolute trooper. I hope you make tons of money. We'll catch you in the next video. Much love. See ya.